What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at all of the pro-style playbooks in college football 25, but we're going to do it by the numbers. So what we're going to do is I'm going to break down all 27 pro-style playbooks according to EA, and I put pro-style quotations because some people, when you look at these playbooks, are not going to look like actual pro-style playbooks. That's why I have grouped them into three categories. Traditional, that's more of your old school under center based playbooks. You got pistol playbooks that have a good chunk of pistol formations along with some other things, and all of your gun oriented playbooks. That's what most people are going to be seeing in this game. Now, all of them are going to be broken down by formation and play type. Hopefully by the time we get through those, you'll have a good idea of what each one of those playbooks really look like. And at the end, we're going to look at some of the playbooks that have the most plays, runs, options, things of that nature. Let's start off with the traditional playbooks, and we're going to look at this by formation first. So here we have 8 playbooks that what I consider traditional playbooks that have a lot of under center, whether that's single back, I formation, strong, weak, along with some other things as well. But think old school. Now here are the 8 playbooks: Bowling Green, Iowa, Kentucky, Michigan, Michigan State, Nebraska, Pro Style, and Utah. And you see it here at the top, I got it broken down by formation. How many gun formations, how many pistols, single bag, I formation, strong and weak. I'll combine those two, and the max amount of plays for each playbook. And any number you see in yellow is the highest amount. So when it comes to your shotgun formations, Bowling Green has the most of these 8. You look at the pistol, we don't have a whole lot of pistol among these 8, but we got a few with about 2 formations each: Kentucky, Michigan, and Utah. You look at the single bag, now you see a lot higher numbers. Utah has by far the most single bag formations, and I think in the entire game, with 9 of those. But you see some other ones right there. Kentucky's right up there, Iowa, Michigan State, and Bowling Green. Now, when it comes to I formation, Michigan has the most of this group with 4, but you got Michigan State, Nebraska, and Iowa 3, and Pro Style, that's the generic playbook with a couple formations. And then the strong and weak formations, not many playbooks have those, but I wanted to list them here because that's still, in my opinion, a traditional Pro Style look. And the Pro Style alternate / generic playbook has 2 of those, and Michigan State have 1 of each. And if you look at the maximum amount of plays, just some playbooks are a little bit bigger than others. The Utah playbook is ginormous, 357 plays. You got much smaller ones like that Pro Style generic playbook with less than 200. Now let's look at these by play type. What I have at the top, I got basic runs. These are your handoffs and tosses. We have options. Those are your speeds, reads, load options. We have your RPOs. We got play action. We got screen. And then we got total pass. That is the most amount of pass plays in each playbook. So if you want to know what the drop back is, you look at Bowling Green at the top, 180. Well, you subtract 51 play actions and subtract 17 screens. That tells you how many dropbacks are going to be in that playbook. So again, here are the 8 traditional playbooks, and let's start off with the runs. So Michigan playbook is huge, but it's got 122 basic runs. If you just want to hand the ball off, do a toss, anything that's not option or RPO related, Michigan's a really good one to go to. But look at these other numbers. Michigan State's really up there. Kentucky, Iowa, Utah. Again, it's a humongous playbook. It's got a lot of traditional runs. Now, when it comes to the option, Kentucky has the most. It can be a little bit of a mix of reads and speeds. I don't even think it has any triple. I think it may have 1. But you look at some other playbooks, Michigan State, Nebraska, Utah, and Bowling Green are all up there as well. Just kind of expect a lot of read option among most of those. Now, when it comes to RPOs, Bowling Green and Iowa are tied for that. So yes, Iowa is an old school traditional playbook with all that I formation, single back, and whatnot. However, it's got plenty of RPOs built into it. But you look at some of these other playbooks, Kentucky, Michigan State, and Michigan, Utah, Nebraska, they're all about around that same area in terms of the amount of RPOs that you're looking for. If you need a lot of play action, Michigan State has by far the most of these group of playbooks. But Michigan is right up there. You look at Utah is up there as well. If you need a good screen game, if you need a lot of different plays that involve the screen, that doesn't include RPOs, you can look at Kentucky first. A ton of those, whether it's a halfback screen, a wide receiver screen. But if you add that Along with those RPOs, you can have a massive screen game because the RPOs are essentially screens on the outside with a run option built into it. And then the total amount of pass plays among the bunch is Utah, so which is kind of expected because they got a really big playbook. But then you look at some really smaller ones like the Pro Style. Again, that's a small playbook. Iowa doesn't have a lot of traditional drop back stuff, and it just has, a handful of, the play actions and the screens and whatnot. But hopefully between this information and that information, you can get a good feel of what these 8 playbooks are trying to do. Now let's look at the pistol playbooks. These are still pro style, but they got at least 3 or more pistol formations. This is my way of kind of grouping these, and there are 8 of them. Ball State, Boston College, Louisville, Rice, Texas A&M, UAB, UConn, and Virginia. So let's start off with the formation, starting off with gun. As you can see, every one of these has at least between 10 to 15 shotgun formation. That's to be expected. When it comes to the pistol, you got at least 3 or more. Now, Texas A&M has the most with 7, but UAB is right there as well. So if you need a mix of gun and pistol, there you go. Those are the 2 playbooks you may want to look at. Single back, a whole lot less than what we saw in the traditional group, but we got 2 for Louisville, we got 1 for Rice, and 1 for Ball State. If you need some I formation, this is interesting. So Texas A&M actually has about more than any other playbook in the entire game. They have 4, but they had so much pistol built in theirs, I just felt like I needed to put it in this section. It also has 1 strong or weak formation as well. And you look at the max amount of plays for each playbook, Texas A&M wins that one by a wide margin. Louisville is up there as well. And some of these are actually really small, like UConn, only less than 200 plays. Here are the play types for those 8 pistol playbooks, starting off with your runs. Texas A&M has by far the most, which makes a lot of sense. Pistol is kind of treated like under center single back in a way where you're doing a lot of handoffs and tosses and whatnot, but 115 is an incredible amount. Now, some of these other ones, Louisville is up there as well, but the rest of these kind of like in the 50s and 60s. When it comes to option, if you need basic reads and speeds and such, Texas A&M, there you go. There's 23 of them there, but Virginia, surprisingly, has quite a bit of option built into theirs, along with, you look at Louisville and Rice with 17 apiece. You look at the RPOs, Virginia has by far the most of any of these right here with 30, but Boston College has 25 RPOs built into it. Ball State is up there with 20. Texas A&M's got 23. Again, Texas A&M, it's a humongous playbook. Play action, guess what? Texas A&M is leading that as well. 69 play actions. If you don't need a lot of play actions, you may want to look at the UAB playbook. There's only 27 there. You look at the screens, Rice has more than any of them on this list right here. They got 25 of them. But as you could tell, the range is kind of close. The lowest looks to be 13 with a high of 25. And the total amount of pass plays in general for these 8 playbooks, Louisville has the most. If you just need to pass a lot more, you may want to look at them, but look at Texas A&M right there with over 200. This is our last group. This is the gun group. This is where it's got mostly shotgun. This is what most people are saying. But just because it's a lot of shotgun doesn't mean that it can't be pro style. Pro style is like run, play action, things of that nature. It doesn't have to be under center all the time. So this is more, I guess, your modern playbooks in a sense. So we got Arizona, Arkansas, Fresno State, Georgia, Georgia State, New Mexico, Northern Illinois, Oregon State, Syracuse, Texas, and Wyoming. Now you see the amount of gun formations in each one. It's a pretty similar and close range, the lowest being Northern Illinois with 11, and Texas has 18. But it's still, you're going to get a good chunk of your shotgun right there. Some of these have some pistol, but not much. You got Fresno State, Northern Illinois with Texas with just 2 apiece, and you got a few other ones with just 1. Single back, there's some extra in here. You kind of notice a theme here. Most of the shotgun-oriented playbooks are going to have at least a little bit of single back, but not an absolute ton. But Northern Illinois has the most of this group right here with 4. There's only one of these playbooks that has an I formation, that is Arkansas. And instead of putting the strong and weak formations right here, I threw in the Wildcat. There's not many in here that have Wildcat formations. Arizona State and Fresno State have 1 apiece. And the most amount of plays in general, it's Georgia. Humongous playbook, 351 plays. Arizona's got a lot. Anytime you're getting around the 300 plus range, it's a humongous playbook. They got 300. The rest of these are between the 240s and the 260s. Now let's look at the play type for these 10 playbooks. Starting off with the run, Northern Illinois has more basic runs. So if you really want to be in the shotgun, but you want basic handoffs, a lot of them, you may want to look at the Northern Illinois playbook. But there's some other ones here, like Arizona's got 71, Wyoming was 74, and you got some in the mid 60s and 50s and whatnot. If you need a lot of option with your playbook from the gun, look for the Arizona playbook. There's 22 option plays there. But there are some other ones, like Wyoming is right there as well with 20 of them. Oregon State with 17. And Arkansas has got a lot too with 19. If you need a lot of RPOs, there's only one playbook you need to look at, and that is the Texas playbook. 54 RPOs in that playbook, which is insane. But there's some other ones that got a good amount as well. You look at Georgia, it's really a big playbook in general with 36 plays of RPOs, 31 of Arizona. And you got some that don't have much at all, like New Mexico only with 17. You look at the play actions. If you need basic play action, again, Georgia, huge playbook, 61 plays there. But look at the very bottom. Texas has got 53, Wyoming with 56. So what's interesting, if you just love the play action look in general, RPO plus play action, Texas is the only playbook you really need. They got over 100 plays when you mix the two together. Of course, Georgia is kind of blended in pretty close to it as well. You look at the screens, again, Georgia leads that with 29, but again, it's a massive playbook. But you got some other ones in here that's got 20 plus, like Georgia State, Fresno State, and then Arkansas. And if you need to know about the total amount of pass plays for each of these playbooks, again, Georgia is leading that by a country mile, but we got some that are kind of up there, like Fresno State has almost 200 pass plays, Arizona with 191, and then you got like New Mexico with 180. So here is a nice summary of which playbooks has the most of what. I kind of done this mostly by play type, but we start at the top left, we got the most amount of plays. If you just need a massive playbook to work with, look for Utah and Georgia. Remember, Utah is a more traditional playbook. Georgia is more of a gun/spread playbook. Then you got Texas A&M right up there with humongous 351 plays, and Michigan State is a more traditional pro-style playbook with 336. You look at the runs, if you need a ton of basic handoff type stuff, Michigan State, and Texas A&M, more than what you need. When it comes to option, if you like a pro-style playbook, but you need a little option built into it, you may want to look for Texas A&M, Arizona, and then Virginia. If you need a bunch of RPOs, one leads the way by a country mile, and that is Texas, but Georgia and Arizona has a bunch as well. You look at play action. If you need a lot of traditional play action, Michigan State, Utah, and Michigan. If you need a lot of screens in your offense, and that's basic screens, not including RPOs, that's Georgia, Kentucky, and Rice. And last but not least, if you need just a ton of passing in general, Georgia, Utah, and Louisville. All three of those playbooks are pretty big in general. All right, I hope this helped, and I'll talk to you later.